doesn't matter. It doesn't. I better face you than to give you back. No, I can't face you if I. Now we will tell them to stop coming.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, the distinguished Director General, Chief Executive Officer of the RMRDC, Professor Emmanuel Ikenoso. Good morning to all the directors here present, deputy directors here, assistant directors here present, and all our colleagues. Thank you for making it today with us at the 10th series of the RMRBC lecture. And we have with us today a very distinguished gentleman. Before we begin, I would like to invite us to please rise as we recite the first stanza of the national anthem. O God of all creation, grant this hour nation where no man is oppressed, and so peace and plenty, Nigeria will be your best. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you once again for being with us here in person and to all our guests online. Thank you also for making it today with us today. At this point in time, I would like to hand the microphone over to the distinguished Director General for a few remarks before our guest lecturer takes the floor. A round of applause for the
Good morning, our guest teacher, our directors, deputy directors, and all my colleagues. My remarks again is that we are not responding very well to this lecture. If we know the caliber of our teacher today, the whole of this place will be filled up like 4 hours before now. It still shows we do not understand what we are doing, and we need to wake up. Dr. Billy is an ancestor. You're going to see it, and you're going to hear it, you're going to feel it. It's not something that I'm going to tell you. I wasn't around when he was the DG of Mutar, but the sounds, you know what they call sights and sounds, of who he was. He met him was after listening to him in person. You know how, I don't know whether it's you or Paul, but the class is better. But somehow, somebody touches you and you see yourself on the ground. So after listening to him, after meeting, you know, I don't want to tell you about him because I probably will be spoiling his level. Everywhere he goes, he retains his goodness. I was actually very impressed when Georgia told me that Dr. Billy has come. Because I didn't know how to explain myself. He's what we describe as an ancestor when it comes to innovation, science, and technology. One of those people that become institutions you go to consult, like oracles, that you go to consult. But because of the family we have, the attendance is still very, 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 very low. But be that as it may, we record this. I hope we record this fully. He's there being in this communication within the whole lot. So we have to welcome Dr. Billy. He's an amazing person. Apart from the knowledge, his personality is something else. His persona is a wonderful man. When we had retreat last year, he was there, and he's not a man that is influenced by anything. Even hasn't told me that I know. Money doesn't treat you, he just enjoys his life. He just enjoys his life, very simple and very knowledgeable. So thank you very much, sir, for accepting to be here. We appreciate you. And on behalf of all of us here, just ahead of you, we knowledge of the part we love you.
Thank you very much, sir. The Director General CEO of RRC. We're indeed privileged to have Dr. Engineer Umar being here to speak with us today. This lecture, I assure you, is going to be highly informative.
Sorry, can I say something? By the way, Dr. Billy is Clara's hospital. But apart from that, to be honest, and in fairness, I don't think they put the tag aside there. And that's good. Dr. Billy is in a different world, completely different atmosphere. So, that's the thing. I don't know what idea. I don't know what the people have.
It's not a lie.
Welcome. Okay, like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Engineer Umar Hoover. He will speak to the top.
Thank you very much. I know it's very rare to have the DG sitting when we make a presentation, but I'll try to be very, very quick. DGs, I thank you very much for your words. In addition to my daughter, I also have a sister here. The dearest sister on your team is Mrs. Anu. She's to stand up for Thank you. Well, I'm always happy to be here, and Adam Magdisi is a household name. So thank you very much for inviting me. Prof has been pestering my life for at least 3 months now. But he's a fantastic gentleman. It is that I was in academia. I touched the industry just a little bit, not too much. But I was also in yeah, I was in academia. I rose to the highest level and I left. And the reason for me leaving was that I did all my academia career out of Nigeria. And when I came back to Nigeria, I realized that I don't fit with this, what was happening. So I ventured into the civil service. I again rotated. I was even director of sports in this country. I was the one that hired Samson Siasia, if you know that. But most of my public engagements in the civil service centered on techniques, of reducing poverty in our country, which is a very, very major problem. And just like the DG said, I was Director General of NOTAP, I tried to do that in NOTAP as well. And then I was hired to go to Adamawa State and become the secretary to the government. So when we look at this, we realize that the academic thing in you always catches you. Academics like data, they like documentation, you like to investigate, you like to philosophize. If you are not prepared academically, you will pass. Nigeria is very good at very bad in implementation. Any policy that you don't implement was badly written. That is just the summary. And that's all, with that mixture, I went to work with the politicians. When I went to the state government as SSG, this is where I saw reality. But because it's well aligned to the politics, it doesn't matter whether you're a professor, even Professor Emeritus, that board will deal with you. Because that's how political things are. So the system doesn't have a compact efficiency element in it. Everything is just scattered. So it is these experiences that I put together to now come and talk to you. Can we minimize our telephone things? Let me give you 10 minutes to check your phones and mute them for a serious social entrepreneurship. I'm actually the only Nigerian who is invest everything I have, whatever I know, in trying to push people forward. And if you want to become a specialist, you have to apply to me. How do we leverage on it that we can indigenously innovate, and with particular reference to Nigeria's raw material supply? And so that's how I extracted the keywords. We need to talk about acquisition of technology, and you'll see the details in Nigeria, all to optimize our raw materials. And it's outside the window. Somebody outside. I'm sending you whoever you are. Anyway, so I checked the man's appropriate for RMRDC to concentrate on it when you are talking about technology and actually leveraging on it, so that we can be able to address our food and beverage value chain, the building materials and cement and so on value chain. Now, if we were good, raw materials I think now is how many years old? Who can tell me? 37 years. 37 years. Nearly 40 you pass. Many people, there are some who were not born here when raw material was institutionalized. And it was institutionalized for a purpose, so that we can be able to see and do all these good things for our country. So I said, if the Nigerian technology acquisition strategy were to be working, we would have been getting technologies that are relevant for our development. If we were leveraging on such technologies, we would have been innovating internally. This table would be made in Nigeria. This microphone system would be made in Nigeria. The computer would have been made in Nigeria. Our drinks and food all would be in Nigeria. And we would have achieved what I call the Nigerian dream. A dream of having a country that is peaceful, because we know solutions. And we have leveraged on the solutions. And now we are employing people, we are producing things ourselves, they are cheap, we have income, and we can do that. So that we can be united. That is what unites people. And then we can be happy too, because you don't have any reason to be unhappy. We would have demonstrated that we are also very, very productive. Our factories will be working, our farmers will be working, our industries will be working day in, day out. And we would have demonstrated to the world that we have global know-how, global skills, and global competency. So when Angola is having problems in cement, it is Nigeria that they will come to. If England is having problems with oil and gas, it would have been Nigeria that will come to. And then we would have been visible globally. That wherever you go, you will see Nigerian technology and Nigerian product. And then you would have seen so many things that are actually made in Nigeria. And that would have demonstrated that we have capacity, we have capability, and that is the only ingredient that can push our country to the level whereby people will know that dynamically we are creative and we are innovative. Bring a problem, we can solve it. We can solve it in 3 or 4 times. this is if we were effective in acquiring technology, leveraging on it to do that. And certainly, we would have demonstrated to the world a measurement that this is happening. You don't need to go and tell people, oh, we are good, we are no. Things happening in your country would have told people that you are good. Your technology is good. You're leveraging on it, and you're actually delivering solutions. And what are these three things that you showcase your key performances? The first thing, you would have demonstrated to the world that you have eradicated absolute poverty. That Nigerians can eat well, and they can eat different things. Nigerians, you will not see one child who is out of school, and our education system would have been good. And then there is no reason why a woman in Nigeria, rural, suburban, or urban, that will not have access to healthcare to go and deliver their child and go home well. So all this maternal mortality, children mortality, we would have removed it. And every single Nigerian, if we were to achieve this technology connection and innovating, would have been actually showering every morning to come to work, or even to go to farm. Everybody would have actually opened a tap to drink potable water. And then our houses would have been good, sanitation would not have been a problem. This is the first measure. Any country you go to and you see these miserable things with a very, very high absolute poverty, it means that country has problems in terms of evolving their technology, leveraging on it, deploying to solve this. Now, even if you solve this, if you do this, you cannot just continue just making sure that ordinary basic things are there. You have to power it at the second level where you can measure, that inclusivity. You create middle class. People have skills to lay tires, to make tables, to make electricity, operate roads, maintain them. Because this is the technology and the leveraging of the technology. When you invest, you just get something back because the vibrance of the country will support you. Plus, people who are outside will now see Nigeria. And then when you have a country, a minister.
True.
But when a country is utilizing its own technology and then leveraging on it to create things to make sure that things are valid, they will just abuse it if you are trying to cause confusion there. And then the patriotism of your country will also drive its own energy for that. And then you will see that there's security and we're safe. We play because you can take holiday and go. I don't know how to take yearly holiday with your family. We have erased holiday in our homes. We're just working constantly. No, when a country is bad, you even plan. Somebody who has somebody come and give lectures and in December I am due to go on holiday. So you can do to make you forget this is my religion. This is my tribe. I am from that area. So that we are loving each other. We live peacefully. And then we're united. What is happening here? And at the highest level, what will happen is that we will develop institutions, whether it is police or population, this will be operating at the highest level so that people will learn to respect the country and society. Then you will see that world-class institutions here. So this is a measure. And our country doesn't use this. We actually love poverty. You see, big people, rich people, they go to IDPs. They say, how are you now? Hey. And then you just go. And it is the picture that you show that was the IDP. Now, it's not that we have not been trying. I'm telling you, we've been trying. Take it back to the 60s. Relevance of your institution. We tried Operation Feed the Nation. We thought we had energy to gather technology and leave knowledge, application systems, plow our land to totally feed our people and feed our industry. We thought we could do it. We lost a lot of money. Nothing happened. Implemented so many different things. Today, even Buhari saw the reason why we're doing it because of indiscipline. So we'll not war against indiscipline.
Yes.
So that we tell someone to know technology, how to ride on it, and you remember Babangida to dig Mamsa. They all go to and mobilize areas to them, ginger them to achieve this. But they say, no, we have to do right infrastructure. Then we tell, no, go back and say, all this that you are trying to do a structural agenda program. No, that we did that. We ended up thinking, the reason why we are not achieving this is because of foreigners now. These Indians, including Ghanaians, we did that indigenization. Everybody who is foreign so that we can do these things and achieve ourselves. Then the time Abacha took over, he even set a date, Vision 2010. By the year 2010, every table in Nigeria will be Nigerian. Every wheelbarrow will be Nigerian. Every car and tire will be Nigerian. We will industrialize by 2020. Set. People like Prof. were in the committee. Big hands are writing report. We even did not do it again. Immediately, President is because Abacha is a bad person. Look, let us do the national economic and empowerment development. We will achieve 2020. Every table, every spanner, every and then we brought up well expert that you can give with reforms. Then he finished it 8 years. Then reduce it to 7 points so that we can have you cannot be this is the same us. We have called to shelter there to come and so we just took our needs report and then we look at see when somebody is not looking at you, you can remove this and you put 7 points. Go submitted the report. Okay? So unfortunately he died too prematurely in that. But you cannot believe it. Even his own deputy, his vice president, could not sustain the 7 years. No, my boss was not quite. You know, he was sick. So let's do transformation. My father was not like we did that again. By the time still in 2020 has not arrived. But I came to change man. I swear to God I was inside. We didn't know what it meant. And lecture like this as a public servant, and you don't say in line with change mantra. So,
this guy to give us trouble.
If you read this, we will change our technology. Our research will be effective. Our universities will be good. We will use that knowledge to ensure that we start making we were the people who wrote. And even now, of us, we now have a new government. And when I went to that meeting, I'm retired and I don't have any fear for it. I said that the minister who was chairing our assessor, do we have the list of those who are so that we know how to deal them? We want to reform the economy and sustain inclusive growth. We want to make sure that we have peace. You cannot achieve that without technology. We want to ensure again security. We want to make sure that we energy and so on and so forth. We want to make sure that we ginger the growth through and transportation and so on and so forth. We want to focus on education, social investment, and so on and so forth. And then with the hope that still that we can conquer absolute poverty, that we create a middle class and raise our country to the mass. It has always been the same. Now, this renewed hope even has the Nigeria First. I don't know how many people know about the Nigeria First. I was there when the president made this statement. I met somebody near me and I said, I hope, I was so happy. I hope the president will conclude. from now on, all of you use Innocent. And that those jeeps, the saving I have. That is semi-new. That did not happen. They left that, all this was there. How we got into left? This is the way to go. So the question is, why have we or what to learn from people that have we look at other countries that have been able to eradicate poverty, that would make their people strong, and then this. I said, because these countries have attained all this, these countries are the developed and rich countries. What have they done to develop and sustain development? Because literally, the whole topic that is development. Okay? So I now will show you some things that I found. First, this community developed foreign policy. They do use of evidence. There's data everywhere. You are crunching data to come up. Sometimes they carry you to Singapore. Singapore is very good. Instead of collect no, we think the easier way. Just go and see that they have developed and come back to Nigeria. Nigeria with them. So you get documents, you come back here, you go into your house, your DG is saying, what about the report for that trip? So you just take that, you get somebody to scan it, and everywhere you see Singapore, you remove it and you put Nigeria. Fantastic raw material validation policy. When DG is, we will do this. You will do that. So we have learned. Now we have science and innovation policy. Regarding raw material valuation, the technology required. I don't know how many people have done to meet this document. How can actually enable you to achieve your target? We have an intellectual property policy now. Without understanding intellectual property management, there is no way you can get the technology and be able to successfully. I don't know how many people have got the document to read it so that you go. We also have a Nigerian industrial policy. Nigerian industrial policy is the one that way, based on the effect of this institution and its own partners, from 2020 is importing flour. That is part of the industry. So that you say, we have varieties, we have, and then Miller Association goes to you. They are only traders of wheat and they have grinding machines. They just grind civic. We are so much to the extent that foreigners in this country who are making bread, Chinese bread here and there, industrial say no. Cannot we have technology. We know there are global companies that from Rangoli, we know this. So I don't know how many people have the document to read it with this mind to now interrogate that. I also know that you have this is the mother of all policies. You are developing critical mass to start thinking like this. You must get that and read it to see what is the Nigerian policy on education. And then you have, in addition to this policy, you have executive orders. One of the executive orders I put for you, executive order. And what he said is, we are planning an executive project that promotes Nigerian content, contracts, and science, technology, and engineering. So if a Nigerian company can construct a road, we will not give it to a company like Windows that has nearly 60% foreign use. But I can say, as director, which is an intense technology-based project that is actually done by Nigerian technology. Roads, every single road from federal to state, enthusiasm, clapping, dancing, and then this country will go to the next level. Just look behind the leader. That is why the technology is. Technology. They are taking on their technology and innovation, and they are just carrying your money, and there's no jobs for your people that and your technology. So you need to have that too. Now we have data policy. There isn't a particular document, but there are analytical documents all over the place. In fact, you cannot believe it. Some, you know, the effect of diaspora. Diaspora when they come, and it is time for diaspora. Because there's a lot of diaspora content administration. From Canada, something tells you that you should sell Canadian. Mr. President, don't mind about what is in Nigeria. If you and you make something, it will go. But you are not Canada. And that is, this Nigeria first actually came from America first. Somebody came and sold it. That because Trump was it, and then we think it had happened. So, this in terms of policy, we must be able to change our mind to make sure that they are edited. The technology enabling you to write on it are very, very vibrant. Even if you go to Massachusetts, you see a big, nice cake. Right? Nice, very nice, with the founder, blah, 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 blah. Immediately you enter that, you see green. It's like a carpet. Grass. They will allow that green to become yellow. You see flowers. Permanent. So they enable you mentally, you're already at that level. And if you compare it to my University of Lagos, you will now start both. MIT has gate, you too, you have gate. You say, who is their father? We have gate now. They enter the gate. They have lecture that is which lecture? They say, we have professors. They say, which we have professors? They say, we have students. They say, you continue all this comparative degree, but I can tell you if you put the president of MIT. Not very good because we have only made $80 billion. But next year we will improve. I think we should be able to do. And then you turn around to Uganda and VC. How are the licensing live from you? Ensure that till today we don't know how to explore the oil, we don't know where it is, we don't know how to drill it out, we don't know how to refine it. All the technology has not been leveraged on. We just sit and say every day we are producing 2 million barrels per day, and our export in crude has increased. We clap ourselves. But then when the refineries arrive on time, we abuse our leaders. Why? You have the raw material and we are not at. Go to the supermarket, you see simple vegetable oil. Fruits, because you don't use data, you cannot prioritize. But because they know everything, we should be able to learn from this. We have priorities to also understand that strong intellectual property protection and management is key. This is not very strong in Nigeria. I don't know why they created the technology. Because very smart professors, smart people do that. I abuse my father. They abuse my mother. This nonsense. Do that. I abuse my father. They abuse my mother. This nonsense man. He has come here, man. He has come here. What kind of computer does it? I said you must do. What kind of computer does it? I said you must do it. All the I set the asphalt. But when you take anything from him, you cannot tell him to use PowerPoint. Because you cannot tell him to use PowerPoint. Because you are already covered. So this is very, very important. Make progress relevant for red gold, legislation, stepping, pounding it. When you modernize, you can say you can come in because and now it's like that. They have vegetable oil, they have regularization, they have even though they would talk about Korea with the product. Now right down to the need we have communicated of that conference. And you know why? Because people don't trust it because we are technologically blurred. We are irrelevant. Nobody comes to us to be technology. When they return you to Nigeria, we kill that as well. We saw the place on television. Minister is the one doing this corrupt. Minister will say you are nonsense. He will say Minister is the one doing this corrupt. Minister will say you are nonsense. He will say Minister is nonsense. Even me, President appointed me. Buy this good. To achieve good. Even me, President appointed me. Buy this good. To achieve good technology, to achieve good technology, to achieve fantastic methodology to ride on it, to achieve fantastic methodology to ride on it or leverage on it, to achieve innovation that is connected, efficient, innovation that is connected, efficient, and innovation. This is the message. They can continue chasing us. I know I've had so much experience. Immediately I go in the committee, I put my hand and say, if you allow Dr. Bindi to, he will bring this science technology wahala. If you allow Dr. Bindi to, he will bring this science technology wahala. It is not going to the but I can tell you better. If you look at this, why is it that this thing that we don't understand, our leaders don't understand? You see, I chopped it into 3 houses. I said science, engineering and technology and innovation. If you look at the science house, this is where you have very, very smart people, prove them, document them, present them like this, publish them anywhere, and nobody can ask questions. And these people, take long time to bring them. They're very highly qualified and they have PhDs and so on. They use expensive tools and facilities to generate this. You must motivate them with yourself. And okay, they are strong. What do I get from this? Then you have world-class publications, journal of so and so, and area country, no problem. Research infrastructure, my lab is better so, and area country, no problem. Research infrastructure, my lab is better than yours, I have the latest they release, and then why scientific people are using, have the latest they release, and then why scientific people are using, and say, we love this. Okay, to leverage you and go and innovate. It seems like you need to enter and go and innovate. It seems like you need to enter and we need more people to do this. Not that can now come up with all these pilot plans you have, it is not them making it. They do proof of concept, pushing infrastructure, they jigging, they fix, and then they can be able to even tell you what is happening. They give you technology services. So, it's not a product. Brain can also now become your country to the next level. You have just showcased. It may be crude. It may make noise. But you have demonstrated that your brain. I make presentation, people will say better the high impact. I wrote some few things here, it's subject matter for another discussion. Math that is on it. If we go to university, you cannot actually make your product so. They are the ones that deceive people that this is good. And you accept. They are the ones that tells the story, chooses the colors, tells people that this is good, the other one is bad. This is their key, the colors. Tells people that this is good, the other one is bad. This is their key. Here. Let us articulate a research proposal. And this committee, they need colorimeter. They get something that they think they have got. Like colorimeter. They get something that they think they have got. Like this. You eat outside and then you are just eating over. I can very, very smooth from this pilot plant that we have already to now move to the next level. That is what we call as technology transfer. You know where the technology is, you know where it is doing it. You can actually do it yourself. Technology, he has money and he has, here we celebrate, Bill Gates was a dropout of university. No. He just got to a point and he realized that it's either I continue studying or I miss this. Now, any degree, you even have to beg him to take it. Or plan with the pattern and everything, and you say, because this institution is very good and it wants Nigeria to develop, you are dashing this knowledge to certain zones so that they can quickly pick it up. Don't bring any money to, you support them so that it can be able to spread, but you have the protection so that another person cannot come and take advantage. Or you can license it. I give you, you utilize it. For every profit of 100 naira, you get me 10 naira. So you get licensing fee. Or you can do joint venture. You bring your money, I bring my sense, we get some people to surround it, and we can actualize it. Or you can build, for example, I saw one soap making a pilot plant there. Now, you perfect by continue sitting down and thinking that in the drawings, and then the community the drawings, and then the community develops to the next level. It's what takes you into the house of innovation. Innovation is not intelligence. When you are intelligent, you invent or you are creative, but innovation is connectivity to the market. How are you going to, but innovation is connectivity to the market. How are you going to make sure that you come up with this? Existing technology is more powerful. You come up with this. Existing technology is more powerful. This can fire from here to TED Fund, and I can do my presentation virtually. The artisans are there, the PhD is there, the professor is there. You also have the management services providers. You see, this Department of Management, Banking and Finance, they are the ones to look at this and say, we know how to get money for you. Or business management, we know how to actually establish a business to do that. We know how to do feasibility. And so all this financing, the IP management, technology transfer agreement, all these wealth creation activities, production, all these are social people who you cannot run away. The actual scientists cannot do it. So when you put all these contributions of these three houses, and then you integrate it with very firm policy-based actions, then you can now start saying things. This is the leverage. Prof, should I stop now? Is my time up? Yeah? Decide. You have these three overlapping, this is it. And it is only then we can now start talking about innovation, riding on our technology. Then we are transforming our economy, and gradually we industrialize, and still we don't sleep, we sustain. So, why have we not done this? It looks so simple. The reason why we have not done this is that it's not that we don't have the scientists. Nigeria has the highest rate of professorial promotion in Africa. Now young people are 30, 35 are becoming professors. Talk to the university people for Nigeria, so that we can be able to get Nigerian technology, and we can see patents that is based on Nigeria. So you continue this effort, pressing them together until you have this overlap. Here, this size here, as you see here, this pure yellow, it is knowledge that is totally not useful to anybody. Nobody has used it. Here, bit of the research has actually become intellectual property, and it is not actually helping anybody employ. Here is engineering things that we have that is not based on know-how or knowledge. But by the time you come here, this one has ever studied this in Nigeria. There's no. How much of that 1,000 do we have patents and other intellectual property? How much of them is now employing people? And that is why you see universities in the developed countries, they have science and technology parks. This is what is guiding you. The researchers in the university, the students in the university, they are now doing spin-offs, startups, and so on and so forth. And that is how you see it is existing. And once you do that, you will have got the bridge over the value of it, and now your knowledge can do that. And the easiest way to do it first is that you have to change the flavor of our institutions. Let us not just take our universities as teaching and schooling to go and get certificates. There must be, in the universities, research, development, and experimentation centers of excellence. We must be able to mimic, through this pilot planting and incubation, production and industrial centers on the university capacity in terms of services and their products to survive, not to wait for the other countries. If you do that, then with high values and work ethic with organizational innovate and do certain things, and then you can be able to take. If we work and do certain things, and then you can be able to take. If we work on our university that are creating networks and strong connections only, not because you are my brother or you are my sister. No, intellectual connection. And then you will share my sister. No, intellectual connection. And then you will share knowledge and experience because it has value. Then you can be able to negotiate, discuss, and work jointly instead of fighting and killing each other. And it is only when these things are happening that our technical capital will now work for us and will start creating and distributing. Will now work for us and will start creating and distributing capital. Will be the one that is constructing the room. Will not call Chinese to come here. Will be the one that is constructing the room. Will not call Chinese to come and create the power and make sure. Schools. And then we engineers will actually happen. And then for those who are doing descend on small companies, and then for those who are doing descend on small companies in Nigeria will become like this, hasn't it? It is possible. In Nigeria will become like this, hasn't it? It is possible. Now, this is the 6 zones. When you look at it, we have resources everywhere. There's nothing that we don't have. But our infrastructure, even upon this tribe, this religion, we're constantly to deal with you because it has gone everywhere. A country that is exporting first, just a showerhead, it's an agriculture engineer, it comes to processing and adding value, most of it. So how institutions, instead of solving this problem, doing their things in a very, very bad way, sanitation, you cannot see the opportunity. These are the people who, when I was young, and I just took, through my masters and PhD, when I was young, and I just took, through my PhD, this mean, I was talking to farmers asking them, what was it that you were doing? Then I will go to the farmers, we will talk with them, see what they are doing. How come that now you cannot produce this? We will sit with them to see how they are actually picking the granules. And then, when they prick like this, they just leave it on the soil to dry. They come with a machine, they take the granule, but the top, they grind it and they put it back to the soil because it's very rich in nitrogen. We cannot afford to do that. We need to feed it to our animals. So I was asking them why. So they collect it. And all this, I studied the mechanical and physical properties, all the engineering properties of granules. I know how much force you require. When you pull it by force, what is the germination, and so on and so on. I published a lot of papers in this project. And then, at the end of the day, I invented the granule combined harvest. This is, I have different. Then, I brought it to the field. This was me, you see me. I worked on it. I tested it. And I even had an opportunity to demonstrate it to President Babangida. He was president there. And then everybody was saying, hey, this man, why your master? You will now manage to get it to the president. You will be very rich honest. Because the president is a northern, he will support you. You will make it. But sadly, I can tell you that was. As I'm talking to you, I don't even know where my prototype is. It has melted away. Why? Because we don't realize this value yet. You can talk to the president. If the value of this is you drop it. And what is this value of that? Because your industrial policy is weak. The industrial policy of Nigeria doesn't say, that's it. We will not import wheelbarrow again. Because we know how to do that. If that industrial policy were there, they would have said, now we cannot be able to do so in granule because we have a combined and we must reach it. We don't have that. Technology and industry support. When you come up with something that is no matter how useful it is in Nigeria, you know the wealth universities. I started doing my so that they have manual. Exactly what I did with the granule. Just leverage on their technology. Fiji, Solomon, they respect you. But using my machine, all this paid for. And I was even making we're very happy. I did so many other. We're very happy. I did so many other. You better go back to Nigeria and do this. You better go back to Nigeria and do this. So as I am engineer in the public service, I'm a full animal public service. I'm a full animal for meat, for skin. They are the ones that are in Lagos and start selling pig milk too. If we don't leave, she's even feeding her child. The end you see me there, we had an agreement that we will hear Holland and Vietnam. It's there. They say in Oyo State, we then we encourage them to build house of water and how to measure milk, how to we started seeing all the measurements and the bankers, they will now look at that. They advised me was all this sentiment, collecting me and collect all these people. And as I said, this is the biggest problem that we're not even talking about. And And as a this is the biggest problem that we're not even talking about. We think this is northern. It's not true. I studied this too. This was in the east. I went myself. These boys that have never been to school. But because of entrepreneurial, they have to survive. They're selling things. This was in Yoruba, this was in Kaduna, some was in Kano, and these children are like that. They are now 15 years, 16 years. You know, the numbers are very, very scary. And a big problem for Nigeria. So I realized that Hausa people, Fulani people, and Kanuri are the majority in this Almajiri. And this Almajiri thing for the Quranic, it catches you very early. At 1 year, it has already helped you. And as it develops you, you are 15. This is it. This is all. Look at their shoes. Look at their legs. They don't have. If you think Boko Haram is a problem, I got into it. I learned that President Jonathan did 151 Almajiri schools. I visited all of them. This was the way to the schools. Nothing has changed. On one, I now at this level, Chinese will be said put the engineering. I put all sort of problem when the guy is saying I don't care about money. He doesn't know what I'm going through. He's saying I don't care about money. He doesn't know what I'm going through. I got the first prototype. I came back. We did field work. We went to all the and at the end of the day, produced the model where we are now. And we have produced the model where we are now. And we have invoked, we've started looking at it, and the good thing about the tablet is that now, since this late, it's only to read Quran. So Quran software is available now, in different. You just install it in this. You invoke it, it will read, you will control it, you will reduce the volume, you will do everything. In fact, you can teach yourself. If it is hadith, the sayings of our prophet, it's also the software now. Put it on this. But the beauty about this is that you can now also put apps on how do you greet your parents so that you improve the moral upbringing of children. They will see the bending down, the talking, and because it's a software phase, we've got somebody who can make it in all the languages in Nigeria. You know, we can do that. We also got entrepreneurship. All the bits and pieces that we do, how to make a car, how to do all that, we produce video clips, and it's pumped onto in thousands. But some people will say, the man is a fundamentalist. He said he does solution only for Muslim children. The only thing that makes this Islamic is that head. Okay? I made it removable. So when you remove it, it becomes applicable to anybody. But it's exactly the same. You know, so it's well packaged, and so some of the things that we try putting on it and it's working is that fruit salad. You can turn a little girl, a Almajiri girl, into an entrepreneur. We just said the video will show. Buy pineapple, cut it like this, skin it up, slice it into bits, chop it, use a simple device. Politicians, instead of buying expensive, you can buy thousands of these. And then they're going to share it to this Almajiri, and then training them is only 2 hours. And before you know, that girl will become an entrepreneur, providing fresh local jam. And you do a lot here. And then once the jam, they will sell it, they will sell the yogurt, but they can also mix it and produce flavor. Put pepper and onion, blend it. Again, politicians stir it very well, start frying, you will see the example. Imagine of juice, the women here, the mama put, you can do small scale farmers, you can be able to do it to these children wherever they are. Entrepreneurial education. I met the bunch and I said of this. Now anyway, they asked me what about the commercialization? 1 million units. It's still $200. So now and my own license fee is $1,400. One of my projects is that when I retired, I sold everything I had. My pieces of land, the few houses that I bought locally, my cows, everything. I sold, and I bought this piece of land in our own area. The man died. You see this electricity pole, watch it. I smashed it down, and I used part of that money to do this. And then I registered an NGO in my name. I call it the Building Knowledge Development Center International. That's where I work. All my computers are connected to the internet, courtesy of Nigerian Communications Satellite. And we teach you from school and out of school to come to us and we train you in all sorts of things. But I can tell you, entrepreneurial training is the solution. Once you start getting a couple, you will come. They need to come back again. But we also provide facilities for people to sit down and revise. And we do that, these children will go on the internet. And we even take the common out-of-school children. I even bought the next plot of land to my center. And I established a center and a sports center because sports is very good for connectivity. And then children will come and play every evening. For the first time in Yola, there's a place where you say, at 4 o'clock, I'm going to the sports center to go and watch it. We don't have social things to encourage us to stay together. I provided that. But in the future, I hope my center will become all this to the extent that maybe I'll even back home. I find that this is very good, and I'm doing so many projects. Just some few weeks ago, I implemented International Day of the Girl Child, out of school girl children, at my center in partnership with NGOs. We collected a lot of these children. We have fantastic, this has never been done before, and everything. Then they will come. We're starting with my own local government in my center.
Have a rousing standing applause for PhD. Ladies and gentlemen, I must say that for several companies, thank you very much. Say that at this.
I've wasted your time.
No.
No, you didn't waste that time, sir. It's been time.
No.
No, you didn't waste that time, sir. It's been time well.
I always look forward to listen to your lecture. One thing about me is that each time I am opportune to listen to intellectual, I always seize opportunity to ask questions, even outside the scope of the discourse. So I will seize the opportunity to ask questions today, even outside the scope of this current discourse. You know what? Not talking about the outskirts. So I want to find out which technology can I adopt. But I'm trying to study the interaction between those pollinators and human activities and the ecological process. So I know you need GIS for it, but I want to know which basic technology can I use to handle that process. Thank you, sir. Yes, those are pollinators. Might be insects, might be birds, might be other things. But because it's going to be used to improve food production. So know you are an expert at your.
Any other question from this half of the hall before we go over to the other half? Can I have questions from this half?
I just want to ask, how can we determine vegetable?
Please, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
Argument. Carriers of pollen into flowers so that you can get the fruit or whatever to happen. The cows carrying seeds. I think it's totally, there's nothing like what guys or whatever. It has to be something that you are constantly taking pictures and noting the differences and trying to come on the ground and then recording. There are many techniques, I think. I will advise you to me it sounds very complex. I don't know what it is. And you know, yeah. I remember there was a project, somebody wanted to produce 5,000 hectares of cassava. Now, cassava, most varieties that we use don't flower. And if you have massive area of no flowers, you may actually disrupt. I have argued that some of these activities are not nice. So I guess your research is quite big for perishables. Well, you have to come up with a scale, 0 to 100 scale, and 0, no addition, it means that's the raw product. And 100% value addition is again another product. It is totally up to you on how you work backwards to do 30%. And then value, because if you are a maize farmer or rice farmer, let us say rice, you from planting up to protecting the plant until you harvest, you are not getting anything. You can only lose because you can't eat the straw. Take you to the farm and say, I have 1 hectare, I can't harvest it. I've suffered, I've spent this and this, so give me this amount. So this is zero value addition. The man who has bought this will bring a thresher and some few people with sickles to cut it. Just deploying the sickle and the drum. If you now go next, the person who buys it here will now take it to a mill and they will mill it. You will have the rice husk and you have not polished it, but you can eat the rice that is brown there. Now, again, you can cost this. If you cost it, how much is rice, either per boil or not per boil, but the husk is off, then you will see that the farmer, if he sells it here, this is how much he is losing. And until you get it polished into the bag, and you can see the price. So as you do, it's a cost. Value addition is about knowing the process that you deploy to get the maximum. And that is why the value addition, you come to the village that you can be able to, whether it's timber, whether it is juice, whether it is an animal, the 30% is not the same. It is up to you from 100. And 30%, the farmer should at least get this amount. 50% he should be here. So how do we get the farmer here? They don't have the empowerment to do this. Therefore, RMRDC will come to the community and say, look, instead of selling all your rice to middle people who are coming, if you take Nestle, for example, Nestle has a very, very funny way of doing this. They have documented all they know the output, and then they also hire or bid. All this the farmer cannot have. So they do all these advice systems sometimes to lift the value. So when raw material
everyone at Robo
know that you're a member of the RMRDC. To the overseas, know that you're a member of the RMRDC. To the overseas RMRDC. To the overseas M.M. Kumar.
Thank you, sir. It will interest you to know
this lecture series. My last day on this lecture series. And I am so CBN XTV who have I am so CBN XTV who have not I never knew I'm going to have once more know how to I'm going to have once more know how to describe you. All our secret all depends to work out just to cut the story. All our secret all depends to work out just to cut the story. Your effort for giving me a very, very good program, which out so that people will have a very good program, which out so that people will be having a program because it has a very knowledgeable thought that if people should spare their time, thank you once more. Thought that if people should spare their time, thank you once more.
Thank you very much, over. Thank you very much, over. So Professor John for a few remarks from him as well.
Okay, thank you very much. In fact, I'm so excited. Believe in this vision right from God. In fact, I'm so excited. Believe in this vision right from God that stands downstream of science technology. Can we celebrate him out? His PhD was put in bracket and he called the staff. So the staff has been pardoned. His PhD was put in bracket and he called the staff. So the staff has been pardoned. And this is 2 straight hours you have spent here. In fact, I had to. And also that is adding value. I want to say thank you very much. Customer centricity. Yes, it was awesome. And we are having the transformation of raw materials in. We want to say thank you very much. And for the final note, please, ladies and gentlemen, being the last series for the year, permit me to hand over the microphone to the Director General once again to have the final remark, then we rise for the national anthem. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end on the note of the National Pledge to close this session. Please don't leave in a hurry. We're going to be taking a group photograph with the distinguished DG CEO and our guest speaker right outside here immediately afterwards. The pledge. Next year.